Hi everyone, my name is Mike and today we're going to take a look at another horrible case with you. Julia Simmons was living with Stephen Nicholas, a divorced day trader, in his 3-bedroom home outside Portland, Oregon. According to Julia, she and Stephen met online when she was looking for a place to rent. She thought Stephen was charming and nice while Julia and Stephen lived together. Stephen met Julia's 20-year-old daughter, Rhonda. Stephen, 10 years older than Rhonda, thought she was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. Stephen became smitten with Rhonda. It was hard not to be. In addition to her beautiful looks, she had an incredible personality. What surprised Stephen the most was Rhonda appeared interested in him too. So they started to date. As their relationship progressed, Stephen and Rhonda became more serious. Eventually, the couple decided to live together, and Rhonda moved in Stephen's condo. During the time Stephen and Rhonda dated, he developed a close connection with her family, particularly her sisters, Melina and Tessa. Initially, when Rhonda and Stephen began their relationship, Tessa was only 9 years old. She found Stephen incredibly fun and playful, which made her enjoy spending time with him. Years went by and Stephen and Rhonda continued living together as a committed couple, but they never married. Rhonda often wondered what it would have been like to be married to Stephen. Her friends knew how badly she wanted to get married, and they felt she was holding out for hope. Stephen claimed they were going to get married in the summer of 2009 on his timetable. However, they did have a baby girl, and being a mother became the best part of her life. Her daughter became the focus of her world, and Rhonda cherished every moment she spent with her. She lived being a mom. Rhonda enjoyed being a mom and spending time with her daughter. However, she also yearned to restart her modeling career. According to Stephen, after Rhonda had their daughter, she was the heaviest they had ever been. Stephen claimed Rhonda felt disgusting. He said they made a commitment to hike the 25 best trails in Oregon together in an attempt to lose weight. After the birth of their daughter, Stephen expressed that things were going well in his and Rhonda's relationship, and they rarely argued. He believed that they had become stronger than ever before. However, a different story was told by Rhonda's friends. They revealed that Rhonda had confided in them about Stephen's abusive behavior. Rhonda had once taken picture of her back using a mirror to document bruises caused by a fight with Stephen. On March 15, 2009, Stephen and Rhonda, who was 23, went to a hike on the Eagle Creek Trail. As the couple made their way down the trail, Rhonda captured a photo of Stephen using her cell phone. Before leaving for their hike, Rhonda jokingly texted her mother, "He's either going to give me a ring or throw me off a cliff. Ha ha ha." The weather was beautiful as they continued their walk. However, Stephen later claimed that Rhonda started to behave strangely. According to Stephen, Rhonda asked him what would happen if anything ever happened to her, and if he would take care of their daughter. He said, of course. As the weather began to worsen, Stephen informed Rhonda that it was time to head home. Instead of touring back, Stephen claimed that Rhonda wrapped a towel around her shoulders, declared herself Supergirl, and started to run down the narrow, slippery pathway. Stephen claimed that they witnessed Rhonda slip and fall over the side of the Eagle Creek Trail, approximately 150 feet after Rhonda fell off the Eagle Creek Trail. Stephen claimed that the hike down to the ravine in which she had landed because he couldn't get cell service and held her body. He tried to call 911 but had no service, leaving him no choice but to leave her behind. According to Stephen, he walked to the trailhead, where he finally managed to contact emergency services. Later that day, rescue workers removed Rhonda's body. According to Rhonda's family, Stephen showed no emotion during her memorial service. Stephen claims the exact opposite is true, and said he was crying non-stop, and when he gets really sad, he shuts people out and wants to be alone. Shortly after Rhonda died, Stephen packed up his and their daughter's things and moved to the other side of Oregon with his daughter to live near his family. This move left Rhonda's family feeling suspicious. Rhonda's family wondered what had happened between the two of them during the moments leading up to Rhonda's death. In 2006, Stephen made decisions to relocate from the United States to China. This decision marked the beginning of a new chapter in his life with his young daughter in tow. Stephen decided to settle in Wuxi, a city located approximately 75 miles outside of Shanghai. Stephen had lived in China during his first marriage and developed a love for the country and its people. While living in China, Stephen was hired to teach English to Chinese business people. His daughter Rhonda was adjusting to life in China quickly. Within 2 months of moving there, she had become fluent in Mandarin. Both Stephen and his daughter were thriving. During their time in China, Stephen met and fell in love with a woman named Yin Yan Landy, and his daughter formed a strong bond. With Landy taking on the role of a mother figure, Stephen appreciated how Landy has stepped in and embraced the role of parental figure to his daughter. After 1 year of dating, Stephen decided to take his relationship to the next level by asking Landy to marry him. To his delight, she said yes. In February 2015, Stephen and his daughter flew back to the United States. where the couple planned to marry. They decided to have two ceremonies, one in America and one in China, to accommodate both of their families and friends. Stephen and his daughter arrived in the United States one day before his fiancée, and as they got off the plane in San Francisco to coach their connecting flight to Oregon, an officer approached Stephen and informed him they needed to dating him because there was something wrong with his bag. Little did he know that his encounter would set off a chain of events that would change his life forever. Minutes later, the police arrived and separated Stephen from his daughter, unbeknownst to him. The entire time he had been living in China, detectives had been working diligently on his girlfriend Rhonda's death investigation. Suspicious circumstances surrounding Rhonda's fall from Eagle Creek prompted them to keep the inquiry going, and they eventually came to the conclusion that Stephen was the one who was responsible for her death. Rhonda's mother had been instrumental in keeping the investigation open. She reached out to the detectives all the time, asking for updates. The police arrested Stephen at the airport for Rhonda's murder and extradited him to Oregon. After Stephen was arrested, he claimed that he thought he was dreaming. Stephen hoped he would open his eyes and find himself home in China. With Landy by his side, however, this was no nightmare. This was real life. Stephen's bail was initially set at $2 million. He spent the next 14 months behind bars awaiting his trial. The judge reduced Stevens to bail to $250,000, and his attorney secured the bond. Stephen was released with an ankle monitor. When Rhonda's family found out Stephen had been arrested for her murder, they were overjoyed at the news, knowing that justice was finally being served. Rhonda's monitor, in particular, could not contain her emotions as she heard the news and burst into tears. The arrest of Stephen brought a sense of relief and solace to Rhonda's loved ones, who had been mourning her loss for years. After Stephen's arrest, the attorney took his investigative team to the Eagle Creek Trail, where Rhonda fell to her death. They wanted to conduct experiments to prove to the court that Rhonda slipped in an accident and was not pushed by Stephen. Stephen's defense attorney said the Eagle Creek Trail is one of the most hike area in Columbia River Gorge because of the beauty of the area. During one of Stephen's preliminary hearings, the medical examiner who performed Rhonda's autopsy after her fall from Eagle Creek determined Rhonda's injuries were all below her waist. His discovery was pivotal to Stephen's defense strategy, as it provided them with an opportunity to argue that Rhonda had taken her own life. Stephen's defense team argued that the impact of hitting the ground caused Rhonda's broken pelvis and evidence she had fallen feet first, rather than tumbling head over heels, which would suggest they had been pushed. In addition to presenting evidence regarding Rhonda's injuries, the defense team also sought to utilize notes from her therapy sessions as evidence. These notes state that Rhonda was depressed, but never expressed thoughts of taking her own life. Furthermore, Rhonda herself had described her relationship with Steven as a loveless state. Steven's defense team argued that Rhonda's depression and description for her relationship were indicators that she had chosen to take her own life. By presenting this evidence that aimed to cast doubt on the prosecution's theory that Steven had pushed Rhonda, causing the injuries that led to her death. Steven later claimed that Rhonda was depressed and attempted to take her life multiple times before they ever met. Rhonda's family denied these allegations and accused Steven of lying. Her loved ones claimed Steven was blaming Rhonda for taking her life to get the attention of him because he murdered her. According to Steven, Rhonda also struggled with substance abuse since the age of 12. He alleged that she tried various drugs and had experimented with a wide range of substances. However, the medical examiner report revealed only the presence of slight tracks of marijuana and prescription medication for anxiety and depression that Rhonda was taking due to struggle with postpartum. Disturbing evidence emerged during the preliminary hearing in towards murder, shedding light on the involvement to Steven. It was revealed that Steven had been involved in a romantic relationship with Rhonda's 16-year-old sister Melanie. The relationship raised eyebrows, as Steven was in his 30s while Melina was still a minor. The state presented the court with the argument that Steven's inappropriate relationship with Melina could potentially be a motive for murdering Rhonda. Rhonda had become aware of her husband's actions behind her back, leading to tensions and possible motive to kill her. After Steven was arrested for Rhonda's murder, he was enacted on 2 counts of third-degree sexual assault and 3 counts of third-degree sodomy. Regarding his relationship with Melina Casto, his girlfriend, Rhonda's sister, while awaiting trial for Rhonda's murder in 2005, Steven pleaded guilty to 2 counts of sexual abuse. The statement signed by Steven read, "I had sexual intercourse with Melanie Casto twice." However, Steven claimed that he was coerced into admitting the sexual abuse, and that his admission was untrue. According to Stephen, the only reason he pleaded was that the law would allow him to fight and potentially regain custody of his daughter. Stephen said that he was desperate and wanted his daughter back.